Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, you are absolutely welcome. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the 4 questions that you need to ask yourself before you enter a relationship, or let's say you're already in one and you need to assess the relationship. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first question you'd really need to ask yourself is, where am I? This is a question that addresses your location as it pertains to your season. So, depending on the season that you are in, you may find that your needs tend to differ, right? That is why you really need to ask yourself where you are, and you need to be honest with yourself about where you are. Because sometimes, let's just say you've just exited a relationship, right? And you are still hung up on that person, which means you still have some healing to do, you still have some getting over to do. So that's not a season that would be ideal for you to enter another relationship or start another committed relationship. So you really need to assess where you are, maybe emotionally or even spiritually, right? So let's say you are now more mature in your spiritual life, or you are even growing spiritually. In that season, you cannot afford to have friendships around you that may stagnate your growth or that may impact your relationship with God, depending on what is happening in your life at that moment. Why is it important to ask yourself this question? It is very important that you know where you are, because that is the only way you know which direction the relationship will go. Only when you determine your location, only when you determine where you are, and you're actually honest about where you are, no judgment, because remember, you're asking yourself this question. So, no judgment here, there's no audience, only God and you, and your emotions and your thoughts. So you can be honest about this. If you are not in a good place in that season, just be honest. I'm not yet in a good place. I need to heal, or I need to figure a few things out. Therefore, that may not be an ideal season to actually be starting another relationship. Or you are actually maybe in a season where you feel you're at that place, you've become the one, that one good friend, you're capable of becoming a good friend, you're capable of becoming that good spouse or good partner. So obviously, in that place, when you're honest about that, how you go about your friendships or looking for friends is different from when you are not yet in, like, maybe a state of being committed. When you're now in a state of being ready for commitment, that's where you're not fooling around. You are not getting around being unequally yoked, because you have no business playing around now. Now you are in that season where you are ready for marriage, to settle down and have that one serious partner in your life. So yeah, assess your seasons, assess where you are. So yeah, that first question, where am I? The second question to ask yourself is, what do I need? Now, it may seem like a very selfish question, right? Like, it's self-centered. It's focusing on your needs, right? But you need to be honest about your needs. You need to be honest about what you want, because sometimes, like I said before, depending on where you are, needs tend to vary, they can change. But let's say you are in a season where you are building, you have a whole lot of projects going on for you, you're always in and out of meetings, you're always juggling one thing or the other. Like, your mind is always in that state of work, 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 work. Let's drill down, let's do it. And maybe in that season, you really appreciate peace. You need peace. So when you're out there doing this or that, whenever now you get into an environment where you are with your partner or with your friends, what you really treasure is peace. You don't need bickering around. You don't need drama. You just want peace. So your need becomes somebody who is of a calm disposition and very peaceable, right? So that becomes a specific need to you. Also, before I go any further, you have to be specific about your needs. You can't very well say, oh, I just need people who are loving and caring, or somebody who's loving and caring and kind. Be specific. Get down to where you are, like you said. After you know where you are, now really get down to the root of what you really need. Be very, very specific about it. Do not be shy. Do not be shy about it. Another example would be, let's say you are somebody naturally, you are serious, you are intense, and you're always studying, researching, thinking, all of those things. So you appreciate a person with a very good sense of humor in your life. It now becomes a need because you're somebody who's very serious. You're somebody who's kind of low-key intense most of the time. So you very much need a sense of humor to just lighten the environment, to just lighten your life a little bit. So you see, humor now becomes a need. A few examples, but yeah, just get to the nitty and gritty of it. Be very specific about it. Also keeping in mind that by knowing what you need, you also get to that point where you actually know what your values are, whether it's in that season or it's just naturally because of who you are, because of who, yeah, you are what you are naturally predisposed to. Okay? Yeah. So the third question to ask now is, do they have what I need? Or do they bring value to my life? Because after you get down to what you need, that is how you see what you value. So yeah, the third question would be, do they have the value? Do they contribute the value? Do they provide what I need in my life? Again, it's not selfish. I really must say that because I know we tend to shy away from assessing our relationships because it may seem like we're being too self-centered. But I like to call it stewardship. I like to call it proper guarding of our hearts and ourselves because our lives are precious, and who we interact with influences us on different levels. So that is why it becomes of utmost importance that we really ask ourselves these questions, because we don't want to waste our time, we don't want to waste other people's time, and we don't want people to get unnecessarily hurt, and we don't want to be hurt ourselves unnecessarily. So yeah, be honest. Do they bring the value that I need? Do they have what I need? If they don't, then you know what to do. Or if maybe they provide a little of what you need and they're not providing some of it, then you'll be able to see how you will place them in your life. Maybe they become an acquaintance instead of a friend. Maybe they become a friend instead of a partner, right? So depending on the value that they may bring in, depending on your level and depth of need, you'll be able to place these people accordingly. I'm pretty sure you've had this example, or is it a metaphor, of when people are on a bus, right? And how they say some people are at the front, some are at the middle, some are at the back. And of course, the people who are at the front are the people who interact the most with the driver, and the driver can hear them clearly. Then the people at the middle have to shout a little bit. Then the people at the back have to really shout, So categories and placement. So yeah, your values and your needs, depending on whether they are bringing them to the table, whether they are able to provide what you need, will determine how you place them. Some of them will really just have to either jump off the bus or not get on the bus at all. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so the fourth and last question to ask yourself now is, what do I need? to do? This is an action question. This is an action-oriented question. After you've answered all these questions and you've been honest with yourself, you've really been truly honest, you didn't lie to yourself, that is when you decide what you need to do. If a person is not bringing the value that you need, contributing the way that you need them to contribute in your life, then that is where you decide, do you cut these people off? Do they need realigning? Do they need upgrading? And after you assess this, it's also a time to assess maybe other relationships you may have not been nurturing properly and may actually need more nurturing, because now you've done the work, you've sat down with yourself, you've asked yourself these questions, you've actually answered them, and now you know what you need to do. Now you actually need to do something about it. What I would say is, or a piece of advice I'll give you, don't just answer these questions. Have answers, hold on to the answers, and not do anything about it. You should be decisive. You should be somebody who is responsible enough and accountable enough to take action whenever it is necessary. Okay, and yeah, this is all I had for you guys in this video. I hope you'll be able to nurture your relationships well, and I hope you have the courage to actually assess and reevaluate your relationships, because keep in mind, they really influence who you are and where you're going. So until we meet next time, my name is Carol, and if you like the video, like it, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.